Hello, welcome to Healthy Table Talk, Dietitian Dishing Up Death. My name is Hannah Koshak. I'm a registered dietitian, and this is an opportunity for us to just grab a beverage, sit around the table, and have conversations that offer depth. In my case, talking about a health journey. I have a new co-host who's not new. She's just my guest co-host today. Miss Shannon Warner is still my official co-host, but today I have a dietetic intern who's interning with me. So I'm giving her this fun opportunity to co-host. So we grabbed a tea, and today we talked about titles, and something that I think isn't talked about enough is just like taking that courage to jump into something that you have resistance in your health journey for. And so why it's so important to step out of your comfort zone in your health journey, what that could look like, and just, focus on enjoying the journey versus, jumping into something that is not fun or attainable. So apologies that our screen is off. We don't have the best setup options, so hang with us. I promise it won't be so bad. So, Hope, do you want to say where you're interning from?
Yeah, so currently I'm interning at OSF Medical Center in Peoria, Illinois. So I do a lot of clinical stuff there right now, but this is a nice little break and something different to kind of delve into.
For sure. Good. Okay. So when we're talking about stepping out of your comfort zone, Hope and I are used to doing that a lot in our careers. Like being an intern, you are put in the most uncomfortable situations, potentially this one, sweet Hope. And you have a preceptor who's putting these projects in your lap that you have to figure out. You have to do presentations from maybe content you're not super familiar with. You have to talk to patients that you've never met. And so that side of it we're used to. But focusing on the health journey side, that's where we see a lot of people say, tell me if you've heard this, I know what I need to do, I just have to do it.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like I hear that a lot, especially just with patients that are in the hospital, even short term. I mean, I can go up to their room and talk to them, and they'll kind of stop me in my tracks of words, and they'll just say, no, I know what I need to do. So
yeah. What do you think it is that's holding them back from doing it?
I think there's quite a few things. I mean, I think there's some motivation piece of it. I think a lot of the people that we talk to are educated. I think they have been given the education. They just don't know where to start. They don't know the tips, the tools, any tricks to kind of get them started in those kind of health journeys.
Tips of where to start. That's true. So we can talk on that today. I think a big piece too is that they maybe don't have confidence in their food journey, where they're not sure why that's the healthy choice they should be doing. Or maybe they have a history of failing in the past on their health journey. So that resistance to, this is something that it's not going to last. So why get started now? That's the whole Start Monday concept. And so they just resist pushing it. But one thing that I know, it's like stepping out of their comfort zone is a huge barrier, because if there's ingredients that are unfamiliar, that holds them back from new recipes. If there's something in the language that's being taught, that's something where they're like, I'm not familiar with that topic, and it's intimidating. Or yes, just intimidation in general of like figuring out something new. So stepping out of your comfort zone in your health journey means, to me, step one is facing your resistance for what it is. What is that resistance? Like, what's the underlying cause of that resistance? It could be fear of failure. Like I said, you're just too scared of putting yourself in a position that you could create something that you can't sustain. Maybe that resistance is you've had negative health journeys in the past, which involved obsession or over restriction or feelings of deprivation. And therefore, you are going to resist starting something like that. Or maybe the resistance is just the fact that you don't want to be on a journey alone. You want someone to do it with. You want someone to share that experience with, to bounce ideas off of, or to feel that excitement or something new. Of course, the accountability aspect. But whatever it is, until you understand what your resistance to trying new things or getting into a health journey that you love, understanding it is the most important part.
Yeah, I think the resistance is a huge thing. It's just being comfortable with being uncomfortable, I think is something that going into a health journey, kind of getting outside of those fad diets or whatever it may be that people have tried in the past, that it is uncomfortable, and it's just kind of, you have to learn to be okay with it.
Yes.
And turn to people for support. And I know that can even be difficult because it's, well, who do we turn to? But
yeah. She brings up a really good point when it comes to fad diets actually being comfortable because you've tried them in the past. So maybe to say it's like not about if it works or not, it's the fact that you're just comfortable with doing it. So how many times have people said, like, oh, I have like I've done South Beach diet for 20 years on and off, right? It's just the familiar thing. So like stepping out of the comfort zone from that is a huge win.
Yeah, definitely.
So when it comes to stepping out of the comfort zone, what does that look like, right? What could that look like in a health journey? And I know from experience of working with clients that someone asks, how do you deal with flatulence? Truthfully, when you're on a health journey, it does typically increase gas, and that right there, stepping out of comfort zone, is trying new foods that maybe you don't know how your body's going to react to them. That's a perfect example. In reality, if you do notice an increase in gas, it's likely related to an increase of fiber, which is healthy. That fiber can ferment in your gut, producing a healthy bacteria. But that fermentation can produce gas. That gas is not a bad thing. It's good for your body to release it. And once you continuously feed your healthy gut bacteria, that gas won't be as much because you really get to the point of just feeding the healthy gut bacteria more so than producing it. So there's that. But yeah, so that is one thing. And then the other thing would be, what do you have an example of? What would it be an example of stepping out of your comfort zone in your health journey?
I think a lot of it would be getting creative with things that you are comfortable with. Let's say, you're cooking with like a pasta dish, finding maybe a new vegetable, or I don't know, even something to garnish with, finding something new to kind of get those creative juices flowing, but also maybe finding something you really love.
So true. And if you are seasonal, like go to the farmer's market and find something new that you've never tried before. If you see herbs you've never had before, purchase them. Find, like she said, a pasta dish you're comfortable with, but you're going to be using new foods, so that's new to you, but that's stepping out of the comfort zone. What about when it comes to progress and measuring your progress in your health journey, stepping out of your comfort zone that way?
Yeah. So I'm all about the non-scale victories, right? There is the scale, and that's, something that a lot of people are really stuck on, so to say. They'll see the weight going up or down, and, that'll make you feel some certain emotions.
Yeah.
But I think looking at the non-scale victories, like, hey, I had 3 vegetables this week. That's awesome. Normally I have 1, or I had, I substituted, my high sugary, like, soda beverage for a tea, or just something.
So focusing on the wins,
yes,
rather than looking for the result.
Yes.
And the result comes because you've compiled enough wins. But when so many people just are like, where's the result, it lets you get the feeling of failure, just slips right in. That is such a good point about, and I talk a lot about that too, just like not even looking at the scale, because it's a mind game. It's not a measure of success or progress. It's actually a mind game that pulls you further away from progress. Because and just like our bodies, like something you do in the moment doesn't always show up in the moment, right? It takes a while for habits to create a result. And typically we want a result faster than it comes. Therefore, you stop consistency, which doesn't get you the results. So the consistency comes over time, and that creates kind of this welcomed result, meaning if you don't have this like expectation in your mind, it's more of like a pleasant surprise. And that's where a lot of my clients, we're focusing on so many wins that are happening and so much excitement because of their inspiration in their health journey that they overall kind of forget about their weight management, which happens organically because of consistency that they've implemented. And that's the beauty of jumping out of the comfort zone, because you are setting yourself up for something that you can maintain. But you're doing it and you're having good feelings about it. When you follow someone else's program or structure, such as a fad diet, you don't have this feeling of success really always. It's kind of like you couldn't do it without them. That's not good. That'll get you on or off. We just want you in a place of there is no on or off. It's just continuous. Potentially a little bit of up and down, which is natural, but really just a matter of a continuous journey, because it will always evolve. Once you meet a point in your health journey, you'll look for the next success point, and that evolution is what's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of talking about finding what's sustainable for you. Those fad diets may not be sustainable for you, but finding, just something like trying a new vegetable once a week, or, finding foods that you're comfortable with adding new things to.
Okay, let's talk about that. What are your staple items that you have in your house for vegetables?
Lettuce is always on hand.
Yeah.
Black beans, that's always something. Quinoa, well, that's not a vegetable, but
yeah, because I'm giving them vegetable ideas to incorporate.
That's a good broccoli. I feel like broccoli is always one I have on hand. Any frozen vegetable vegetable mix, like medleys or anything like that. I'm a big fan of those.
So often, I didn't mean to drop. So often people will ask like, well, wait, aren't frozen vegetables processed or not as good? And Hope and I focusing on being dietitians, that's very different than like, obsessing about something. We really create a well-rounded approach to your health journey so it's sustainable. And when it comes to processed food, there is a place for a level of processing, and your body can handle that, especially when it comes to looking at frozen vegetables. When you have foods, whether it's canned, frozen, or fresh, they all have different benefits within their vitamin and antioxidant values. Meaning, when you cook broccoli or potatoes or whatever, it can actually pull certain vitamins and minerals out of it into the water. Therefore, it's not as much in the fruit or vegetable. So actually eating it fresh or frozen is better. However, when you cook some vegetables, it increases absorption of some vitamins and minerals, which is good. So having different foods in a different variety of ways, frozen, fresh, cooked, even canned, is actually helpful for you to get a variety of vitamins and minerals from that produce. Okay, good. So when it comes to new vegetables, one thing I like to play with are Brussels sprouts. They're really not popular, but there's so many easy ways to make them. One of the ways is I shred them. I chop them so finely and mix them in salads or soups, sautés, just any type of casserole or thing I'm cooking. And that helps you get a cruciferous vegetable, which actually offers good disease preventative properties, which is what we're here for. Just challenging myself as well. I also have new things that are unfamiliar, and then just kind of trying new things allows me to create new recipes that builds my confidence. So we just did a little post today about courage creating creativity. So when you're courageous and you step out of that comfort zone, it builds your creativity. Like I said, new flavors, new meal options. And therefore, you start to create your own journey that's consistent for you. Not all or nothing, just stable, meaning not the all the way on or all the way off. That's a huge perk of stepping out of the comfort zone, I'd say.
Yeah, something to kind of go off of that with being creative and trying new things is I went to a restaurant and I got Brussels sprouts and they had a honey harissa sauce on them. And I was like, ooh, this is really good. I really like this. I'm not like a big Brussels sprouts person. It's not the first vegetable I choose. But finding that new way to kind of make it flavorful, kind of gave me an idea of, oh, maybe I could try something like this at home.
Yes.
So
yes.
even it doesn't have to be as difficult as looking up a new recipe. It can just be, kind of making something your own from what you've already seen.
Or choosing it at a restaurant. That's a really good point. Yes, that is stepping out of your comfort zone. Someone mentioned to me, just asking me about specific fad diets and different programs that kind of implement scare tactics of different foods to choose their way of eating. And another thing that Hope and I are taught and educated on is actually creating health opportunities for people at all income, right? People at all states and walks in their health journey. So there are some people that can actually only choose canned vegetables or have access to applesauce versus fresh apples, or can only afford the, canned fruit. And all to say, that is not a bad thing. So thankfully for processing, it helps gain access to people that maybe don't have the budget to afford only organic or only fresh, which I'm not saying I recommend, but it also gives them more access to the variety of fruits and vegetables in their life, or opportunities to expand their meal choices. So there is a place for fruits and vegetables and a place for that processing, but also just knowing that just because maybe you wouldn't choose the canned fruit, it's an opportunity for someone who maybe couldn't choose fresh fruit, or at least the amount that they would want to be having in their household. And that's important, because if we're only thinking about the people that have access to large grocery stores, can afford only organic and not processed food, that's not realistic. And so our job is to provide that balance for people at all walks in their journey.
Yeah, and I think it's really good that you touched on the differences in the nutrient content. I mean, there isn't a great huge difference, and you can still get those vitamins and minerals and antioxidants through whichever path you choose, I guess, so to say, versus fresh, frozen, or canned.
Yeah. And it's something that, of course, people aren't taught to think about, but for you, most people will say having a health journey is too expensive and that's enough to hold you back. It really doesn't have to be. And we also teach people how to create a health journey on a budget and how to meet certain needs with what you're given. And that's important because it is attainable, maybe not at all levels for everybody, but attainable for people to implement some new ways. So just know that if you're feeling restricted because of your budget, or if you're feeling like you can't eat all organic or non-processed or anything like that, it really doesn't have to look that way, and you can still benefit from a variety. There's lots of ways to get access to whole grains, which are full of nutrition and offer a lot of bulk for low price. There's ways to get bulk vegetables, and frozen is a great start, truthfully. That actually preserves a lot of vitamins and minerals because they freeze them at that peak ripeness. So that's great. So yeah, all right. Well, we like to keep these about 20 minutes. So if you've listened, thank you so much. Feel free to go back and check some of the past episodes. I am hosting a masterclass in my Wholesome Collective membership talking about heart health and longevity, helping people implement things in their lifestyle to improve their heart health, which ultimately improves their longevity. So if you're interested in that, reach out and I can send you the link to purchase. If you're looking for a safe space to expand and grow in your health journey to create consistency, the Wholesome Collective is there for you. There's accountability, there's implementation with cooking classes, and great unbiased education. All right, everybody, have a good day. Most importantly, always enjoy the journey. Cheers.
Cheers.
Go around the table and get some good talk.